going to be talking about The Mist.
The Mist, and this is the inaugural episode of Investigating Film with the brother and the sister of Gary and Genevieve Waters, who have had a lifelong love of film. So we decided to investigate for our one movie, The Mist.
Yes. I know nothing about film. I just thought I love to watch film, but he is the expert. So I'm going to be asking him questions.
Oh, far from being the expert, I just happen to be a lot older.
Well, pretty sure at my age you knew
So
much more than I do.
it's
So.
a lot more.
I just watch for fun.
I've seen a lot more movies, right?
But you're analyzing as you're watching.
Possibly.
Yeah. So this one, I did not realize was going to be a horror film.
Ah.
I
Really?
had no idea.
You didn't know it was Stephen King?
I did not know that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's kind of a classic story. It was a short story, a novella, I guess they call it. And they said that he took during a big storm in Maine, wherever he lives, Salem, I think, Maine, he took his daughter to the grocery store after the storm and then got this idea.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, anything coming out of Stephen King's mind is horrifying.
Right. So going in, I was actually starting to sort of get bored, and then it hit the fan.
Because you didn't really know what was going to happen.
Because
I actually seen it before.
Yeah.
Years ago, when it first came out, and then I'd been familiar with the storyline, over the years, and so I kind of knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was the one thing that the director, who's I guess a big fan of, or was a friend of Stephen King's, he's directed at least 3 of the movies, Shawshank Redemption, and he was going to do Misery first, but he didn't. I mean, not Misery, The Mist first, and he did Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, and then he did, which were very successful, and then he did The Mist, which wasn't as successful, but it was a hit. But I think those are it's a very, very different movie than Shawshank Redemption or The Green Mile. There's not the heart. Basically, I think this story just takes the heart right out of everything. There is no hope
No.
to be found.
No, there is.
It doesn't matter how proactive this world is. Doesn't matter how proactive you get, you're doomed.
Ben actually came in while I was watching it, my 16-year-old, and he said, "Oh, prepare yourself for the end." I was not prepared for the end.
Right. Well, it's interesting though, because the book is of the novella, this short story. It has a very different ending, and if you want to know what that is, go read the story. For all you people who don't like to read, but this has a darker ending, which I thought worked very well with the storyline.
Oh yeah, I mean, it worked, and I was very upset.
Well, that's the thing. That's horror movies. Unless they have a horrible ending, it becomes a fantasy. So this definitely had a horrible ending.
Yeah.
And he snapped. For spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Right.
First of all, I would not have done that. I would have just taken my chances, gotten out of the car, and then if I encountered like a monster, then I would have shot everybody. But I would have done it in the car before I know it's really out there. Ridiculous.
Well, because you can see I'm just playing the devil's advocate from the director's point of view, because he wrote it also. Also, the director did the first season and a half of Walking Dead, which of course is again the same kind of idea. There's no mercy. There's no escape from the horrors of life. They're just going to eat you.
And Walking Dead, people are going to be mad that I don't know her name, because I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. But the mom that ends up leaving at the very beginning is a huge star in The Walking Dead. Bride. I can't think of her first name. She's incredible. She was so young back then.
You mean the wife?
In the very beginning, she has a very small role. She says she has to go and take care of her child.
Oh yes.
The one that's at home by herself,
Oh yeah.
taking care of the baby.
Oh right.
Yeah. So he must have cast her from that then.
That's possible, yeah. Because that brings up to the basically there was an ensemble cast with Toby Jones and all these other who plays I had a problem with Toby Jones, who seemed like this is the grocery clerk, bagger.
Yeah.
He seems like such an intelligent guy. What the hell is he doing working as a clerk in the store?
Yeah.
Right. Which that was strange to me. So, but anyway, the ensemble cast I thought was very well done because there's so many great character actors in that movie.
Yeah.
That all played their parts very well.
I thought they could make actually TheMist the musical when they were bringing all the characters in. I thought maybe a horror, but then I don't.
Maybe somebody's already done it. You don't know because Mist is a very popular story.
Yeah.
Some people think it's their favorite movie, which
really?
I think is bizarre. But maybe their life is just so horrendous that my God, then maybe there's I don't know how to put it.
I probably shouldn't even say this, but she kind of reminded me the one that played the crazy lady.
The church lady, I call her.
Church lady.
Messiah Gay Harden.
She kind of reminds me of Trump.
There. Well, I think the reason they put that on Netflix now is because it's very Trumpian in nature. The whole storyline, the paranoia, someone drumming up the paranoia and the distrust among the other people, and there's a lot of I guess you say philosophical politics going on in the movie, and so anyway, yeah, definitely Trump, and just religion itself, and also the virus. That's the second thing I was going to say. The virus, the COVID virus, is the thing in the mist, the thing in the fog, the unknown, the mystery. So all that kind of resonates with today's audiences, big time. And I thought the most satisfying part of the film was when Toby Jones puts a bullet in her head. That was amazing.
Well, she deserved it. She
definitely deserved it.
Took that kid and shoved him outside and murdered him, basically. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They said she's going to start making sacrifice. So they were resorting back to the Dark Ages, is what they were doing, burning witches and out of fear, they think they can appease the gods somehow and stop them from doing whatever they do to people. So. Yeah, that was basically the whole theme of the story. And then also, the one guy, he tries to do the best he can, the artist.
Yeah.
First.
That's gonna be a problem.
That is a real problem. The first.
Excuse me.
First, we have to take care of our little Cthulhu here.
He hears the.
Cthulhu being definitely the character, the demons that come through the portal. They give you very little explanation of what's going on.
Yeah.
But basically, it's very H.P. Lovecraft, and Stephen King said that was inspired. Well, a lot of his stuff inspired by Lovecraft. So.
Who's that?
H.P. Lovecraft was a very famous writer of horror, mostly short stories. From Maine. He also lived in Maine, and he wrote very dark, mostly told from the standpoint of someone who's going insane, and a lot of stories about strange portals to other demonic regions.
Is there somebody I would have read in high school, or
H.P. Lovecraft? Somebody what?
Would I have read him in high school?
You'd have to have a really interesting teacher to have you read those. I think it'd be a great idea, but I think the teacher would have to be a little bit on edge to be having kids read those books. But Cthulhu is like one of his most famous tentacled monsters that come from another dimension, and definitely inspired the things in this. Evidently, in the short story, they're not very well described, but the director created all these characters, or these demons,
Yeah, it was pretty terrifying.
and they were very terrifying.
Yeah, I mean, that poor girl. I don't know, as an actress, if I'd be excited to have my face be horrifying at the end, where she's so pretty, and then when she gets stung.
Oh yes, that beautiful girl.
Yeah.
What was her name? Alexa Davalos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, that's the horror. That's the psycho scene
Yeah.
where you get the beautiful girl attacked, and then all of a sudden attacked by the most demonic thing you can think of, some great scorpion-like bug that flies, and of course, she just has it. Well, some people can get bit by spiders. Well, yeah, if you do not like spiders, you should not watch this film because
yeah.
you'll be hiding
when
under
they
the
go
bed.
to the pharmacy,
You'll be hiding under the bed. But some people when they get bit, they get horrible reactions, and so she had a horrible reaction. But anyway, it was a very unnerving scene, right?
It was, because I was not expecting all of those things. I mean, I felt like I'd seen it before, but apparently I had not.
You had not.
I thought it was another movie where it was just the mist and monsters did not come out. So.
Well, it's like Stephen King likes to set things at one place a lot of times. I mean, he's kind of like Hitchcock. He's got his movies that stay in one place and his movies that kind of move around, or stories in this case, stories that stay in one place and stories that move around. And this one is the one that kind of stays in one place.
Yeah.
In the grocery store, and like Misery, guy stuck in his bed. That girl, I can't remember the name of the story, where the girl's chained to the bed. They made that's on Netflix. But anyway, yeah. So it's a little microcosm of humans that are in a very desperate situation, and they go back to their more primordial responses to the horror that confronts them. And it's and it goes into psychology. I mean, King is pretty amazing, because The Mist is most like a subconscious. Your subconscious there, it's waiting outside to get in.
Yeah.
And you're scared to death of it. You don't want to really look what's down inside that dark hole, waiting to get out. So, yeah, and then the church lady, of course, is representative of the Trumpian type of person who would try to stir up the masses for their own twisted ends.
There were a lot of jerks that lived in that town.
But I think she was just crazy.
Yeah.
Her point was just, she was just a nut. My favorite line, of course, is which really brought home what a kind of an interesting person she was, is when she says, when she sees the lady in the bathroom, she says, "The day I need a friend like you, I will just have a little squat and shit one out." That to me, that was an amazing. Like, wow, that woman is an incredible bitch. And very scary, right?
Yeah.
So you could tell that she was like somebody they had to contend with. First, it was the lawyer, which I thought was odd, because here you get, artist kind of represents the creative side of the artist, and then the attorney was the more logical side.
Yeah.
The artist had seen what's going on in the subconscious, and the attorney denies it, and then like the QAnon kind of, but the Lord is denying it. But then all of a sudden the Lord just disappears, and
yeah, we never heard from him.
was he the guy that was torn in half? Oh no, he wasn't. That was the other guy who was torn in half. Went to the truck,
Right.
But yeah, we never heard about him again. At first, I thought he was the one that was in the web.
I thought that too, but
it was the MP.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
find out about the military,
Because of the line that he said that he's sorry. I didn't realize. Well, that ended up being a different storyline, but I thought he was saying he was sorry that he didn't believe him, but it was somebody else.
It was somebody
Yeah,
else,
MP.
right? So, yeah. So and it also served the second purpose of talking about what the military's involvement in opening the portals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what scene that was, but It was a very vague explanation of the whole situation.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's what's as long as the world that they created fits together, and there's just kind of an explanation for it, you know.
Yeah, no, it was very well done and way better than The Man from Toronto. So.
Yes, we particularly did not care for No Man from Toronto. The Mist was much better.
I mean, just tighter. It made sense, and there wasn't holes. I mean, really, that
Yeah,
I saw.
this Frank, I always forget how to pronounce his name. Frank Darabont, evidently is a very good director, and it's too bad he just got a big payout from the Walking Dead producers because they fired him after the second season, about halfway through. 200 million, amazing
right now.
amount of money. So you can tell this guy's probably never going to direct again because he doesn't have to. Who needs the headache?
Oh my God.
Because now he's just basically retiring all that cash.
When did that happen?
I was Googling it just recently, looking him up, and I found all this information about it. I don't know if this is current or recent.
That seems like a lot. I mean, Walking Dead's been going on for so long.
Well, I get maybe he helped develop it, and then he wasn't getting the financial kickback that he wanted. And that's why that was the lawsuit actually, was that he was fired so they wouldn't have to pay him a certain amount of money. And so he sued them back, and they won. So
He won.
Yeah, he won. Yeah, or his production company
Good
won.
for
So
him.
anyway, so The Mist was like probably not a great film, but it was definitely in the Stephen King list of films that have been made. It's probably one of the top ones. I would put it there.
No, I agree.
I mean, The Shining, great, of course, but The Mist, top 10 at least of all the Stephen King movies have been made. I couldn't even tell you. I didn't even look up how many have been made into movies, but I know it's been quite a few.
Yeah.
And I've seen most of them because I'm a bit of a Stephen King fan, so. So it fit right in the genre of horror because it had a horrible ending.
It did.
If they had run off and got magic machetes and killed everything, then it would have become a fantasy.
Or if right before he was about to shoot him, the tank showed up.
The tank showed up, then it'd be just a happy little fantasy ending, or at least with horrific overtones. But yeah, it stuck true to its genre. It was truly horrifying.
It was. I mean, honestly, if the child hadn't been in the car, it wouldn't have been as upsetting. But they went there. So.
Oh, as a mother, that was.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was tastefully done because they just showed the car from a distance.
It was tastefully. But also, as a mother, the boy in the very beginning, the grocery bagger.
Toby Jones, which I love that guy.
Oh my God, I
He's
was
a
so
great.
upset. That was very upsetting to me. So.
Oh, and he is.
Dragged out.
Dragged off because he's such a lovable kind of character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still upsetting to me because I've got teenage boys. So. Anyway.
Oh, you're talking about not Toby Jones, but the one in the side, in the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, I know.
See, I don't know
what you're talking about.
people.
Right. I've seen that character, that actor before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where.
He's done a lot of stuff.
I was thinking of Toby Jones, when he's dragged off in the parking lot.
Oh no, the kid.
Well, they're all at horrible ends, except for the artist.
But his end is horrible because now he has to live with what he did.
Obviously, it was
That's
like
worse.
he had gone completely insane at the end.
Yeah.
Which sticks with the H.P. Lovecraft theme, where the characters are either teetering on the edge of madness or completely insane.
I'm teetering on the edge of madness. I'm just kidding.
I think we're all teetering on the edge of madness in this Trumpian era. Yeah. And interesting enough, this was made during the time of Bush. So they say that a lot of horror movies are made during when Republicans are presidents. So during the Reagan eras, there's a whole bunch of horror movies. We don't know why. It's maybe a subconscious thing that people are dealing with the horrors of a Republican presidency. You can tell we're not Republicans. So.
Makes sense.
One of my I listen to Texas Paul a lot. So again, The Mist is just seems to resonate today even more, probably much more so than it did in 2007. think is, they made a TV series, but then I guess it wasn't very successful, which I have not watched. And I guess it came out a few years back, and then they canceled the second season, so I guess it wasn't very successful. But I mean, it takes place in. I tried watching Dusk to Dawn as a TV series, and all they do is just take the movie and just they just spread out the situations. Which what are they gonna do? Stay inside the grocery store for like 3 episodes? I mean, it would irritate me no end.
Yeah, no.
It's better as and even King wrote it as a short story, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like meant to be kind of self-contained, right? And not be dragged out.
What was it on Rotten Tomatoes?
73%
Okay.
or 71%.
And what was Man from Toronto?
I think that was 14%.
Oh yeah, it's right. I guessed higher. It was way lower.
All right. So
yes, watch it if you like horror.
oh yes, I highly recommend it. If you're a Stephen King fan or a horror movie fan, The Mist is definitely should be at the top of your watch list on Netflix.